Шановні колеги, за київським часом 11:00. Згідно з постановою Кабінету міністрів України від 12.01.2022 року номер 44, затвердженою нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, наказом ректора Західноукраїнського національного університету номер 290 від 7.05.2025 року на підставі рішення Вченої ради Західноукраїнського національного університету протокол номер 7 від 7.05.25 року створено спеціалізовану вчену раду ДФ 58082067. Західноукраїнського національного університету з правом прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту Ду Вей на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 05 соціальні та поведінкові науки за спеціальністю 051 економіка та затверджено склад спеціалізованої вченої ради ДФ 58082067 Західноукраїнського національного університету. Згідно з порядком присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, пункт 27, захист дисертації повинен мати характер відкритої наукової дискусії, в якій зобов'язані взяти участь здобувач, голова та усі члени разової ради. Під час атестації здобувача члени разової ради повинні оцінити науковий рівень його дисертації та наукових публікацій з урахуванням дотримання ним академічної доброчесності, а також встановити рівень набуття здобувачем теоретичних знань, відповідних умінь, навичок та компетентностей. Перевірку на доброчесність дисертацію Ду Вей виконано на програмі Turnitin Similarity. Текст дисертації Ду Вей в результаті перевірки на наявність академічного плагіату, фабрикування чи фальсифікування не містить запозичень без належного посилання на джерело, що відповідає критерію дотримання здобувачем академічної доброчесності. В разі надходження до закладу звернень інших осіб з оцінкою дисертації разова рада озвучує їх під час публічного захисту та з урахуванням результатів їх розгляду приймає відповідне рішення. Такі звернення беруться до розгляду в разі їх надходження не пізніше, ніж за 3 робочих дні до дня захисту дисертації. Звернень від інших осіб з оцінкою дисертації Ду Вей до закладу у встановлені терміни не поступає. Заклад забезпечує трансляцію захисту дисертації в режимі реального часу на офіційному веб-сайті Західноукраїнського національного університету, а також відеозапис трансляції захисту дисертації. Після прийняття разовою радою рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії заклад протягом 3 робочих днів оприлюднює рішення разової ради про присудження ступеня доктора філософії та відеозапис трансляції захисту дисертації на офіційному веб-сайті ЗУНу з можливістю вільного перегляду. Шановні колеги, заслухайте інформацію про здобувача. Ду Вей, 1982 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища. Закінчила у 2009 році Аграрний університет Ганцю, отримала диплом магістра за спеціальністю розширення сільського господарства. Вступила до аспірантури 01.11.2022 року на денну форму навчання за спеціальністю 051 економіка. Успішно виконала освітньо-наукову програму за цією спеціальністю, отримала довідку номер 85 та висновок наукового керівника Ліщинського Ігоря Орестовича, доктора економічних наук, професора кафедри міжнародної економіки. Ду Вей звернулась до структурного підрозділу кафедри міжнародної економіки Західноукраїнського національного університету з письмовою заявою щодо отримання висновку про наукову новизну, теоретичне і практичне значення результатів дисертаційного дослідження. Успішно пройшла публічну презентацію наукових результатів дисертації та її обговорення на фаховому засіданні кафедри міжнародної економіки 23 квітня 2025 року, протокол номер 16. Результати обговорення та проведення презентації відображені у висновку про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації, який підписаний головуючою на засіданні кафедри доктором економічних наук, професором, завідувачем кафедри міжнародної економіки, навчально-наукового інституту міжнародних відносин імені Богдана Дмитровича Гаврилишина, Західноукраїнського національного університету Зварич Іриною Ярославівною, з пропозицією щодо кандидатур разової спеціалізованої вченої ради із захисту дисертаційної роботи на присудження ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 051 економіка. Здобувач звернулася з письмовою заявою до Вченої ради ЗУНу про утворення разової спеціалізованої ради 6.05.25 року. До заяви на Вчену раду 5.05.25 року було накладено кваліфікаційну електронну позначку часу КЕП здобувача та електронну копію дисертації в форматі PDF, що засвідчує, що остаточний текст дисертації після подання здобувачам письмової заяви про утворення разової ради не був змінений. Рішення про утворення разової ради Вчена рада прийняла 7 травня 2025 року. На підставі рішення Вченої ради видано наказ номер 290 від 7.05.25 року про утворення разової ради ДФ 58082067 в складі 5 осіб. Голова разової ради, 2 рецензентів та 2 офіційних опонентів. 7 травня 2025 року оприлюднено електронну копію дисертації в форматі PDF з текстовим шаром та накладеним електронним підписом здобувача, анотацію дисертації, висновок про наукову новизну, інформацію про склад разової ради, посилання на веб-сайт та здійснюється трансляція захисту дисертації. Інформацію про утворення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради подано до інформаційної системи наказу 8 травня 2025 року. 7 травня до локального репозитарію Західноукраїнського національного університету подано електронний примірник та друкований примірник дисертації, підписаний здобувачем, до бібліотеки закладу, а електронний примірник та облікову картку до Державної наукової установи УКРНТІ. Усі документи, представлені до спеціалізованої вченої ради, оформлені відповідно до вимог чинного законодавства. Рецензії рецензентів та відгуки опонентів були надані вчасно 6, 9, 11 і 12 червня та розміщені в електронному вигляді на офіційному веб-сайті університету 12 червня. Внесено повідомлення до інформаційної системи наказу про дату, час і місце публічного захисту дисертаційного дослідження Ду Вей. Згідно пунктів 13, 14, 17, 22 постанови Кабінету міністрів від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 та затвердженої нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії до спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли усі необхідні документи і матеріали. Дозвольте представити членів нашої спеціалізованої ради ДФ 58082067. Рецензенти. Зварич Роман Євгенович, доктор економічних наук, професор, завідувач кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин, навчально-наукового інституту міжнародних відносин імені Богдана Дмитровича Гаврилишина Західноукраїнського національного університету. Борисяк Олена Володимирівна, доктор економічних наук, заступник директора навчально-наукового інституту інноватики, природокористування та інфраструктури Західноукраїнського національного університету. Опоненти. Панченко Володимир Григорович, доктор економічних наук, доцент кафедри економіки та міжнародних економічних відносин Маріупольського державного університету. Шкурат Марія Євгенівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин Донецького національного університету імені Василя Стуса. І я, голова ради Сохацька Олена Миколаївна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин Навчально-наукового інституту міжнародних відносин імені Богдана Дмитровича Гаврилишина Західноукраїнського національного університету. Хочу зазначити, що опонентка Шкура Марія Євгенівна бере участь у засіданні спеціалізованої вченої ради з використанням засобів відеозв'язку Zoom. Ця програма забезпечує відкрите голосування відповідно до пункту 28 постанови Кабінету міністрів від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 та затверджений нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження доктора філософії. Шановна Марія Євгенівна, прошу перевірити якість зв'язку. Чи чуєте ви мене?
Доброго дня, так, чую.
Прошу членів ради підтвердити свою присутність підписами у реєстраційній картці присутності. Офіційно присутній тут рецензент Роман Євгенович Зварич, рецензентка Борисяк Олена Володимирівна, опонент Панченко Володимир Григорович та я, голова ради Сохацька Олена Миколаївна. Я прошу дозволу у опонентки Марії Євгенівни Шкурат підтвердити її присутність на засіданні спеціалізованої вченої ради підписом голови ради. Чи даєте ви на це дозвіл, Марія Євгенівна?
Так, звичайно.
Дякую вам. Картка вписана. Шановні колеги, у реєстраційній картці напроти прізвища Шкурат вказуємо режим відеозв'язку Zoom. Засвідчені підписом голови ради. За реєстраційною карткою із 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради присутні на засіданні 5. З них докторів наук з наукового напряму, за яким захищається наша здобувачка, 4. Отже, засідання вченої ради правочинне і є пропозиція його розпочати. Чи є інші пропозиції? Немає. Усі члени ради згодні із розпочати засідання. Отже, на порядку денному захист дисертації Ду Вей на тему «Стратегія інтернаціоналізації сільського господарства Китаю, стимулювання сталого розвитку та сприяння глобальній продовольчій безпеці», поданої на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 051 «Економіка» з галузі знань 05 «Соціальні та поведінкові науки». Чи є інші пропозиції щодо порядку денного? Немає. Оскільки інших пропозицій немає, пропоную проголосувати за затвердження порядку денного підняття руки. Хто за? Проти? Утримались? Немає. Згідно порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, засідання ради проводиться англійською мовою. Із здобувачем погоджена мова захисту англійська. Чи є заперечення у членів ради? Здобувач, ви підтверджуєте? Так. Отже, мова засідання англійська. Dear colleagues, accounting of the agenda, the floor for presenting the main provisions of the dissertation is given to the applicant. There is a proposal to determine the regulation for the report 15 minutes. Are there any objection? None. Please, Du Wei, you have the floor.
Good morning, distinguished professors. I'm pleased to present for your attention the research thesis internationalization strategy of Chinese agriculture, fostering sustainable development and promoting global food security. The purpose of the dissertation is to provide a theoretical system and comprehensive analysis of the internationalization process of China's agricultural sector, and to propose an innovative framework for agricultural internationalization and sustainable development, to enhancing its sustainability and contribute to global food security. The ontology of agricultural development and sustainability under conditions of internationalization is reviewed, outlining its integration within socio-ecological systems and progression through phases from primitive to contemporary agriculture. Sustainable practices is emphasized as crucial for optimizing resource utilization, enhancing efficiency, and maintaining ecological balance, where internationalization is analyzed as a driver of agricultural modernization, technological dissemination, and global cooperation, addressing challenges such as food security, environmental preservation, and equitable development. Theoretical models of agricultural progress and internationalization are systemized, emphasizing key dimensions such as technological innovation, resource efficiency, ecological sustainability, economic optimization, and policy support. Classical theories are analyzed alongside modern frameworks like competitive advantage, global value chains, food sovereignty, and sustainable development, illustrating their interplay in advancing agricultural productivity, fostering international collaboration. The evolution of global and national agricultural development strategies is traced. Focusing on the Green Revolution, the Sustainable Development Goals, and their impact on China's agricultural policies. The conclusion is that in the context of the internationalization of global agriculture, and the global agricultural governance system, countries and multilateral institutions should actively promote the sustainable growth of global agriculture and contribute to global food security. The cluster analysis of Chinese provinces is conducted to examine regional disparities in agriculture and economic activities, employing hierarchical clustering with the world's linkage method and Euclidean distance matrix. The study identified distinct groups of provinces based on key indicators such as regional GDP, urban and rural population distribution, agrarian output, and trade participation. The results reveal significant variations ranging from high-developed economic centers like Guangdong and Shanghai, characterized by strong trade activity and low agrarian output, to agriculture-dominant regions such as Heilongjiang and Henan, which exhibit high levels of agricultural production relative to GDP. This dissertation uses the theory of agricultural regional economics to analyze the regional characteristic of the development of regional agriculture Specialization in China. The transition from traditional agricultural system to modern agricultural system, including agricultural industrialization and the subsequent regions specialization and the rapid development trend of agricultural internationalization in the future. The patterns of Chinese international trade in agricultural products are identified, showcasing dynamic developments in imports and exports patterns, shaped by domestic demand, global market fluctuations, and strategic policies. Diversification in supply sources include robust trade cooperation with Ukraine, is integral to China's agricultural strategy. Ukraine has played a pivotal role in stabilizing the market prices and ensure food sovereignty in China by providing key commodities like corn, soybeans, and sunflower. Driven by strategy such as outward direct investment, land leasing, mergers and acquisition, resource optimization, technology cooperation, and public-private partnerships. China's role in international agricultural capital transfer is rapidly increasing. As shown in the figure, the countries with the largest outward investment from China between 2005 and 2023 are Switzerland and Australia, where Israel has the largest number of projects, reflecting China's greater focus on strategic cooperation rather than capital scale. The main recipients of outward direct investment, led by the United States and Australia, reflect China's broader economic interests. Meanwhile, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia receive the most China's agricultural construction funds, indicating China's international strategy alignment with key countries in its Belt and Road Initiative. Overall, this data highlight China's multifaceted international capital strategy in the agricultural sector, which aims to balance economic opportunities, geopolitical influence, and food security interests. Global agriculture is facing multiple challenges, such as population growth, climate change, resource scarcity, and environmental degradation, as well as complex pressure such as deepening international exchanges and cooperations, an urgent need for technological innovation, policy and system reform, and upgrading agriculture education. Against this background, food security and sustainable development have become issues of common concern to the international community. The focus of China's agricultural transformation should be made on 5 major areas, namely 1. Agricultural science and technology innovation, 2. Sustainable agricultural development models, 3. Agricultural financial support, 4. Rural land reform and agricultural business model innovation, 5. Upgrading of agriculture industry chain. China's agricultural internationalization strategy is elaborate as a comprehensive framework to enhance global food security, promote sustainable agriculture, stimulate international trade and investment, facilitate technology transfer, and support rural development. built on the principle of governance leadership, enterprise-driven investment and technical cooperation. Enterprise-driven investment and technology cooperation. The strategy encompasses policy formulation, infrastructure development, and international engagement. It's structured around 5 key pillars. 1. Diversification of agricultural trade. 2. Promotion of overseas agricultural investment. 3. Advancement of technology transfer and innovation. 4. Improvement of agricultural infrastructure and logistics. And 5. Coordination of international policies through collaboration with global institutions, such as the FAO, and integration with initiatives like the Belt and Road. This comprehensive method demonstrates China's aspiration to take on a pioneering role in defining the future of worldwide agriculture.
Thank you.
Thus, China has become an important player in the international transfer of agricultural capital, improving global agricultural production and infrastructure through strategies such as foreign direct investment, technology exports, trade networks, and public-private partnership. Through initiatives such as the Belt and Road, China has supported sustainable development, food security, and modernization in regions such as Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. China has also established strong partnerships with major agricultural suppliers, including Ukraine, to addressing challenges such as market risk, cultural adaptability, and environmental sustainability. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. First question do you have for the applicant? According to the procedure, everyone present at the meeting has a right to ask questions to the applicants. Doctor of Science Олена Борисяк, please.
Thank you, dear Ду Вей. Thank you for your presentation, your work. And I have 2 questions for you. First question, how are you define internationalization strategy in the context of Chinese agriculture?
Thank you for your question, Professor. The study defines the internationalization strategy for Chinese agriculture as a national and corporate approach that aims to do more than just expand markets, include trade, foreign direct investment, technology transfer, and policy coordination. The goal is to make China more competitive, ensure a steady food supply, and play a strong role in global trade. The strategy is based on 5 key points: trade diversification, outbound investment, technology cooperation, infrastructure, and global governance. It's a long term that has many parts. Thank you.
Okay, and have another question. What are the main real and potential area for agriculture cooperation between China and Ukraine?
Thank you for your question, Professor. Currently, China and Ukraine cooperated in trade of corn, soybean, sunflower oil, and wheat. China is one of the biggest countries that Ukraine sends its farm products to. Ukraine is also important to China because it helps China have more variety in the food it imports. In the future, we may work more closely together on food processing, infrastructure, precision farming, and sustainable land use. Exchanging technology, especially in the area of seed and biotech, and investing together in storage and logistics are also promising areas. Thank you.
Are you satisfied with it?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Professor Roman Зварич, please.
Thank you very much, Ду Вей. Thank you very much for your presentation. Everything was very interesting, but I need some explanation. So due to which I would like to ask you, my question is, how does your research contribute to existing theoretical concepts on agricultural internationalization?
Thank you for your question, Professor. The dissertation contributes by integrating sustainability, international trade, and food security into a unified analytical framework. I developed a 5-pillar model specific to China's strategy, which include trade, investment, technology transfer, infrastructure, and global cooperation, and use regional data to show how different areas within China are involved. Unlike past studies focused on companies or general trends, my study connects strategy with real data on trade, investment, and cooperation. Thank you.
One more.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. One more question, because we understand that China, this is the global actor in economy, in world economy. At the same time, the country has collaboration and has relations with different countries. At the same time, I have a question. Please, could you explain me how does China's investment strategy in agriculture is differ for developed countries and developing countries?
Thank you for your question, Professor. In developed country, China's investments in agriculture are usually focused on acquiring advanced technologies. Agribusiness firms are strategic assets in food processing and logistics. This investment aims to upgrade domestic capacity and integrate China into high-level global supply chains. In contrast, investments in developing countries focus on raw production, infrastructure development, land use, and technology transfer. This dual-track strategy reflects China's differentiated goals, learning and upgrading in developed markets, while supporting production and access emerging ones. Thank you.
Are you satisfied?
I'm fully satisfied. Thank you very much.
Associate Professor Maria Shkurat, please.
Dear Du Vei, thank you for your speech on a relevant topic. And I want to ask 2 questions too. And my first question will be how the impact of the trade wars between China and the United States has been taken into account, in particular in the context of the development of trade with Ukraine.
Thank you for your question, professors. The China-US trade war had a big impact on China's plan to import agricultural products, especially soybean and grains. Tariff barriers disrupted traditional trade routes and forced China to find new sources of agricultural imports. Ukraine has become a major supplier of corn, soybean, wheat, and sunflower oil. This led to stronger trade ties and cooperation in logistics, storage, and precision farming. It helped China get goods from more than one country and rely less on suppliers from just one country. Thank you.
Thank you. And one more question. How does China's agricultural internalization support or conflict with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals?
Thank you for your question, Professor. The expansion of Chinese agriculture into international markets generally aligns with United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. It helps the environment by investing in sustainable farming, making food more available, and promoting technology that is good for the environment. Projects in Africa and Latin America help make local farming more modern and increase food security. However, there can be conflicts if projects ignore local rights, environmental standards, or inclusive development. The decision says that China should follow global rules more closely so that it can do more to help the world and do less harm. Thank you.
Are you satisfied, Maria Evgenia?
Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you. Doctor of Science, Volodymyr Panchenko, please.
Mrs. Du Wei, can you explain how can precision agriculture and digital tools further enhance China's agricultural internationalization and sustainability efforts?
Thank you for your question, Professor. Precision agriculture utilizing digital technologies like satellite monitoring and AI boosts productivity and efficiency. It reduces resource use, support eco-friendly practices, and enhances China's international reputation. This approach ensures stable yields, strengthens global supply chains, and aids in data-driven decision-making in line with China's sustainable aims. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you also explain what are the implications of your findings in your dissertations for other developing countries when they seek to internationalize their agriculture sustainably?
Thank you for your question, Professor. Internationalizing agriculture should be tied to sustainability and local needs. Supply chasing exports can cause long-term harm. Countries can learn from China's five-pillar model and mix trade, investment, technology, infrastructure, and partnership. Also, use digital tools and build inclusive cooperative system to avoid common pitfalls. Thank you.
Are you satisfied?
Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Thank you very much.
I also have two questions. First questions. Can you explain the main distinction between traditional and sustainable agriculture model and how they impact policy making?
Thank you for your question, Professor. Traditional agriculture relies on monoculture, chemical inputs, and mechanization, pursuing short-term yields at the expense of ecosystems. Sustainable agriculture emphasizes biodiversity, organic farming, and resource conservation, focusing on long-term resilience. These differences have significant implications for policy making. Sustainable models require supply-side regulations, green subsidies, and long-term investment in innovation. As a result, policymakers are shifted from quantity-driven to quality and environment-oriented strategies. Thank you.
Second question. How can China balance national food sovereignty with its growing role in global food supply chain?
Thank you for your question, Professor. China balances food sovereignty and its role in the global supply chain through a dual-track strategy. Domestically, it promotes smart agriculture and rural revitalization to ensure self-sufficiency. Internationally, it diversifies imports and investments in supply chains to reduce risk. Meanwhile, it participates in global governance, maintaining sovereignty while promoting trade stability and maintaining resilience in turbulent circumstances. Thank you.
I satisfied. Do the members of the Specialized Academic Council have any more questions for that? No. It's not. If there are no questions, we move on the next part of our defense reviews of the works. The floor is given to the reviewer, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor, Head of the Department of International Economic Relations of the West Ukrainian National University, Зварич Роман. Please.
Thank you very much, Olena Mykolaївна. Dear colleagues, I would like to present my review on the PhD dissertation of Du Wei on the topic Internationalization Strategy of Chinese Agriculture, Fostering Sustainable Development and Promoting Global Food Security in the field of study 05 Social and Behavioral Sciences, specialty 051 Economics. Some words I would like to say about relevance of dissertation. So due to this, it's important to say that internationalization of agriculture is becoming a strategically important goal for China due to growing global challenges such as food security, climate change, land degradation, and biodiversity loss. Yes, it's natural. At the same time, Chinese investment and cooperation in agriculture sector help stabilize global food markets and ensure mutual beneficial development for all partner countries. The internationalization of Chinese agriculture sector require strategic approaches that combines economic feasibility with environmental and social responsibility. I would like to note that Du Wei's dissertation is devoted to the research or study of ways to implement the going out strategy of Chinese agriculture and its impact on global food security, at the same time on sustainable development of the agriculture sector. The result of this research are an important guideline for promoting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially if we will talk about goal number 2 or goal number 12. Same time, the dissertation proposed the new approaches to balance the complex relationship between economic growth in agriculture, environmental protection, and social justice. The dissertation it's very important that the dissertation is the part of fundamental scientific research project on fundamental state budget funding research. At the same time, this research is part of international project Erasmus+. The same time, the part of this research take place in business funding research. It's very important. If to say some words about degree of validity of scientific statements, I would like to say that the aim of the thesis is comprehensive research of the process of internationalization of Chinese agriculture, development of strategic recommendation or proposal for increasing its stability, and of course contribution to global food security. So to achieve the statement goal, the main purpose of the research, Du Wei used mixed methodology. It's very important. If to describe the structure or maybe the main content of this dissertation, I would like to say that Du Wei analyzes the integration of agriculture into social ecological system, its evolution from like basic level to developed level, and also emphasizes the importance of sustainable agriculture for optimizing resource and using. Same time, she spent time for researching of development, increasing efficiency and preservation the ecological balance. The author explores the main theoretical models of agriculture development and internationalization, assessing the possibility of the application to Chinese strategy. Very important to say that analysis of evolution of global and national strategy for agriculture development and food security allows us to conclude the agricultural progress plays a key role in ensuring food security. Same time, the author systemizes the challenges in four aspects: availability, access, use, and sustainability. Using cluster analysis, the author identifies the regional features of Chinese agriculture. The research of agriculture imports and exports indicates Chinese adaptation to global trends. Same time, it's very important to say that the dissertation examines in detail the internationalization strategy of Chinese agriculture as using scientific and technological progress to increase productivity. Next point, reducing environmental input through environmental friendly practice. Next, developing financial support mechanisms. Next, reforming land use and business models. And finally, modernization the agriculture value chain. The strategy which is implemented, it is implemented through the 5 main areas. The first one is trade expansion, next one, foreign investment, technology transfer, infrastructure development, and finally, international policy coordination. Dear colleagues, I would like to say some words about scientific novelty of this research. Among the main results, the main scientific novelty points we could like describe into such points. The first one, for the first time, it is developed the strategy for internalization of Chinese agriculture as a complex framework model for strengthening global food security, promoting sustainable agriculture, activating international trade and investment, and accelerating technology transfer, and finally supporting the development of rural areas. In Chinese case, it's very important to take about rural areas. The next, the cluster analysis method was improved to identify regional disparities in Chinese agriculture as a result of which separate groups of provinces which were identified by key indicators: regional, urban, rural, population distribution, agriculture production volumes, and participation in foreign trade. The next one point of scientific novelty is that the Chinese role in global agriculture capital flows and its contribution to the modernization of agriculture through such instruments as foreign direct investment, technology export, development of trade networks, and public-private partnership were investigated, and I think that this analysis is very important. The next point, some words about ontology of sustainable agriculture development, which is in the context of internationalization, is like developed and takes the new steps for development in the future. Why it's important? Because it provides the holistic system of interaction of economic, social, environmental, resource and demographic factors that ensure balanced use of resources, food security, and global cooperation. Next point, theoretical models of agriculture progresses, which are systematically developed. In particular, the theory of comparative advantage, the model of food sovereignty, the theory of global value chains, model of sustainable development, and of course, the impact on global value chains and the model of sustainable development, which could show the formation of strategies for ensuring food security in the context of the growing internationalization of agriculture. And finally, I would like to say some words about the main trends of Chinese cooperation with Ukraine, because Du Wei developed and proposed very nice results, especially if we're talking about cooperation with Ukraine and other regions of the world in agriculture sector, including the growth of trade in agriculture products, the creation of joint agriculture enterprises, as well as development of scientific and technical exchange, and finally, the implementation of projects within the frameworks of well-known initiative One Road, One Belt, which contributes to the strengthening of food supply chains and strengthening of geo-economic interaction. I will not say a lot about practical and theoretical significance, but I would like to say that practical significance of research lies in development of strategic approaches to internationalization of Chinese agriculture, which can be used by state bodies, international organization, agriculture companies, and different actors in case to form effective policies in field of food security. Completeness of dissertation material and publication. The main results were published in 9 scientific articles. It's very important, the 5 of which published in journals of Ukraine, table B. Personal contribution of the author. I would like to say that all results which were obtained by Du Wei, of all of them independently, did it independently. The next point, plagiarism. Plagiarism verification confirm the principle of academic integrity. It's very important. The dissertation is well structured, written in business English. The way a dissertation research formulates and propose a number of new scientific proposals and conclusions, some of which needs explanation. I would like to say some words about these comments. The first one, section 1.1. Du Wei developed the advantages of internationalization of agriculture and its importance for food security. However, it would be advisable to supplement the study with an assessment of the potential risk of this process, in particular, market fluctuations, trade barriers, geopolitical instability, as well as environmental restrictions that may affect the sustainability of the strategy implementation. Second one, the thesis examines the structure of Chinese foreign trade in agriculture products and institutional forms of international cooperations. This is section 2.2. However, it is worth considering in more depth the logical aspects and management of supply chains, in particular the mechanism of transportation, storage, product preserving, and digitalization of logistics processes in international agriculture exchange. Next one, number 3. The author paid attention to the global aspects of food security. However, it is advisable to expand an analysis by considering its key components in more depth. For example, physical and economic access to food, especially if we're talking about using quality, safety, nutritional value, and the stability of supply in the short and long-term periods. Number 4, the dissertation presents general direction of Chinese international cooperation in the agriculture sector. However, it would be useful to supplement the research with specific examples of the implementation of the internationalization strategy, in particular cases of investment project or agriculture cooperation with Ukraine, which would allow for a particular illustration of theoretical provisions. Next one, number 5, the last one. The author examines the modern processes of internationalization and the impact on the transformation of Chinese agriculture sector. This is section 3.2. However, it is advisable to consider the long-term consequences of these processes, both for domestic food security and for global ecological and economical balance, taking into account the dynamics of international challenges. However, colleagues, I would like to say the above comments and discussion points do not affect the high level of the dissertation research and can be, for my opinion, as a basic for scientific discussion and Du Wei continuation for scientific research in choosing direction in future periods. Dear colleagues, I would like to say my general conclusion. Du Wei's qualification work, Chinese agriculture internationalization strategy, stimulating sustainable development and promoting global food security, is independent, completed, reasoned, scientific research carried out on a relevant topic. The theoretical and practical results obtained are characterized by scientific novelty, are outlined and substantiated, and contribute to solving the problem of environmental sustainability of international cooperation of China in agriculture field and its impact on food security. The dissertation meets the requirements of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of one-time specialized academic council of an institutional of higher education, a scientific institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, approved by the resolution of Cabinet of Ministry of Ukraine dated January 12, 2022, number 44, and its author, Du Wei, deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in field of knowledge 05, social and behavioral sciences, in specialty 051, economics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The floor corresponding to the remark is given to the applicant.
Thank you very much, Professor. Regarding first comment, my point is that where my dissertation highlights the benefits of agricultural internationalization for food security, I fully agree that it is equally important to analyze potential risks. These risks include market volatility, environmental constraints, and geopolitical tensions, all of which can affect supply chains and implementation of agricultural internationalization strategies. Events like the COVID-19 pandemic have exposed the fragility of supply chains. Figure 2.15 in Chapter 2 analyzes the impact of the above factors on the scale of China's overseas agricultural investment and construction from 2005 to 2023. This data can help China predict and adapt to those constraints, thereby enhancing the resilience of its international agricultural participation and ultimately strengthening the strategy. On the third comment, my point is the components of food security are mentioned in my dissertation, but an in-depth discussion may make my research too broad, which I have analyzed in Chapter 2, 2.2, and Chapter 3, 3.2.2. For example, land investment may increase production, but it doesn't improve local food access or nutrition. Cash crops may replace staple foods, but they don't improve dietary structure. Climate shocks and political turmoil threaten food stability. This requires the country to incorporate policy guarantees, insurance, and reserves, which will better reflect the multidimensionality of food security. On the fourth comment, my point is in section 2.2. I have analyzed the case of China-Ukrainian Agricultural Cooperation, including COFCO's investment in Ukrainian ports, Noble Group and Huawei's cooperation in building smart farming, and the technical cooperation between Heilongjiang Agriculture Reclamation and the Ukrainian Ministry of Agriculture, providing empirical support for the internationalization strategy. However, at present, in-depth data analysis and recent research materials based on FAO database, China's National Bureau of Statistics, China Ministry of Agriculture, and Ukraine's National Bureau of Statistics are still limited. In the future, I hope to strengthen international cooperation, further enrich data support, and explore in depth the long-term benefits and promotion models. I agree with remarks 2nd and 5th. This dissertation uses various types of data to analyze the structure of China's agricultural products, foreign trade, and international cooperation mechanism, integrating digital elements. It not only focused on China's short-term structural changes, but also evaluates the long-term efforts on domestic food security and global ecological and economic balance. It also incorporates international dynamic changes into the research framework, reflecting a multi-dimension comprehensive analysis perspective. Thank you.
Dear Roman Євгенович, are you satisfied in the answer?
Yes, I'm fully satisfied.
Thank you. It is possible to include those remarks with which the applicant agreed in the decision of the one-time Specialized Council.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Well, it's possible.
Thank you. The floor is given to the reviewers, Doctor of Economic Science, Deputy Director of the Education of Scientific Institute of Innovation, Environmental Management in Infrastructure of the West Ukrainian National University. Борисяк Олена Володимирівна, please.
Thank you, dear Olena Mykolaївна and members of Specialized Academic Council. My review was prepared and represented to the council in time. It was published on the website of the West Ukrainian National University. And with your permission, I don't present it full, but only pay attention on the main point of the dissertation. And about relevance of the research, China, as one of the leading player in the global agriculture market, faced limited domestic resources, growing internal demand, and the need to strengthen its food self-sufficiency. The development of an effective strategy for the internationalization of Chinese agriculture is important for national economic security and global sustainable development. Therefore, the dissertation by Du Wei on internationalization strategy of Chinese agriculture, fostering sustainable development and promoting global food security is relevant and timely. Next, the research was conducted within the framework of the scientific research activities of the West Ukrainian National University. Scientific provisions, conclusions, and recommendation is based on the use of modern theories and concepts of international economic relations, the work of domestic and foreign science. The dissertation explores the ontological principles of global agricultural development and its sustainability, with an emphasis on the interrelation between food security, environment, social economic factors, and the conservation. The author argues that the internationalization of the agriculture sector is a result of modern process of international cooperation and modernization of agriculture. The paper analyzes in detail of the sector and regional features of Chinese agriculture, the structure of the Chinese foreign trade, main trading partners, in particular Ukraine, and trade policy are considered, which make it possible to assess a Chinese role in global agricultural trade and the consequence of trade conflicts and disruption in supply chain. Based on the national specifics of China, key area of agrarian transformation are identified, in particular stimulating scientific and technological progress, promoting sustainable practices, financial support, reform in rural land management, and modernization of the agro-industrial complex. The content and the structure of the dissertation fully correspond to the topic, goals, and objectives of the study. About scientific novelty, the study proposes an innovative conceptual framework for the internationalization of agriculture in the context of sustainable development, which integrate approaches to development, global cooperation, and food security. Next, the system for assessing sustainable agricultural development and the theoretical model of agricultural progress and internationalization are improved. The evaluation of global and national strategies for agricultural development was traced. A systematic comparative analysis of internationalization strategies in different countries was carried out. And an applied strategy for the internationalization of Chinese agriculture was formulated, taking into account national characteristics. The profile of the publication and the content of the scientific works meet the established requirement for the completeness of coverage of the results of the dissertation work. The text of Du Wei dissertation based on the result of the Czech text of borrowing does not contain any references borrowing and adheres to the principles of academic integrity. All references in the dissertation are made in compliance with the norm of copyright and related rights legislation. And about discussion points, in the first chapter, the author thoroughly reveals the ontological fundamental of global agricultural development, analyzes in detail the conceptual apparatus and system of indicators from agrarian development to sustainable agriculture and internationalization. The author convincingly proves that internationalization contributes to a more efficient distribution of world agricultural resources, increase the production and mitigation food security problems. From the historical perspective of the development of agriculture in the world, the author's position on the inevitability of internationalization as a long-term trend is clearly traced. At the same time, it is worth emphasizing what challenges and opportunities the process of agriculture internationalization are different for developed and developing countries. Next, China as an active participant in the international transfer of agricultural capital effectively uses the mechanisms of foreign direct investment, technology export, trade networks, and public-private partnership to modernize the world's agriculture infrastructure. In this context, it is worth specifying Chinese successful practices in addressing challenges related to resource constraints, trade fluctuations, and environment sustainability, especially for products that significantly depend on individual markets, soybean, corn, meats. Next, the dissertation provides a comparative analysis of internationalization strategies of different countries. The USA relies on dominance in supply chains and technology, the European Union on green standards as barriers, Japan on the export of higher tech products with added value. These strategic approaches lead to increased technological and market dependence of developing countries. In this regard, the question is relevant. How can China is a key player in international financial flows, strengthen its competitive position at the global level and stimulate innovative in multilateral cooperation mechanism while maintains a balance between efficiency, fairness, and sustainable development? Next, the dissertation pays considerable attention to the formation of strategic approaches to the internationalization of agriculture. However, it would be advisable to consider the social consequences of this process for the rural population, both in China and in partner countries more broadly. In particular, it is worth analyzing how transformations in the agricultural sector affects employment, migration, access to the land resources, and changes in traditional farming practices. These are important aspects of ensuring inclusiveness and social sustainability of agriculture policy. And last, the author noticed that the internationalization of Chinese agriculture should be based on 5 strategic objectives adapted to national conditions, which focus on the 3 driving forces: government management, entrepreneur capital, and technological cooperation. Such a multidimensional model should contribute to the development of transnational cooperation, innovative and standardization, which in turn affect global food sustainability. However, it would be advisable to expand the analysis of compliance with the principle of gradualism and regularity to ensure the sustainable implementation of the proposed measure. And in general, the above provision do not reduce the overall higher assessment of the dissertation work, its theoretical and practical significance. And a general conclusion, the dissertation by Du Wei on internationalization strategy of Chinese agriculture, faster and sustainable development and promoting global food security, submitted for the award of the Doctor of Philosophy degree in the specialty 051 Economics, is a completed independent research project that meets with the established requirements. The work is conducted at the appropriate theoretical level and holds practical significance. The topic of the dissertation is fully covered. Therefore, its author, Du Wei, deserves the award of the Doctor of Philosophy degree in the field of knowledge 05, social and behavioral sciences, specialty 051, economics. Thank you for attention.
Thank you for you. The floor is given to the applicant to respond to the comments.
Thank you very much, Professor. Regarding the first comment, the dissertation explores the ontological foundations of agricultural development and internationalization in section 1.1, and I use a table to compare the differences in challenges and opportunities brought by agricultural internationalization to developed and developing countries. These differences are reflected in trade dependence, market access, and technology capabilities. The comparative framework can be used to deepen the analysis and clarify how agricultural internationalization creates integration opportunities and systematic risks at different stages of development. I'm emphasizing the need to formulate differentiated strategies and policy for different stages of development. On the second comment, my point is that in section 2.3, I mainly use a large number of tables and data to study China's role in global agricultural capital transfer through its use of foreign direct investment, public-private cooperation, and technology diffusion. To strengthen this argument, I analyze risk mitigation strategies in the form of practices cases. For example, supply diversification, ecological agricultural investment, and climate resilient infrastructure construction show China's adaptive response to trade fluctuations and environmental constraints. On the fifth comment, my point is the 5 strategies goals outlined in the dissertation are rooted in national conditions and driven by government, capital, and technology cooperation. I agree that in order to achieve long-term sustainability, it's necessary to further emphasizing the principle of gradualism and regularity. This principle reflects the need for gradual implementation risk control, and policy consistency. I will expand this analysis with the cases of phased development under the Belt and Road Initiative and China's domestic rule revitalization strategy, both of which demonstrate how gradual integration can improve efficiency and minimize disruption. I agree with remarks third and fourth. China's role as a key player in international financial flows must strike a balance between enhancing competitiveness and promoting inclusive cooperation. The transformation of China's agriculture sector is an important aspect of ensuring that agricultural policies are inclusive and social sustainable. Thank you.
Dear Olena Volodymyrівna, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes.
Thank you. Olena Volodymyrівna, it is possible to include the choose comment with which the applicant agreed in the decision of the one-time special counsel.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Thank you. Let's move to the next part. The opponent's responses. The floor is given to the official opponent, Doctor of Economic Science, Associate Professor of the Department of Economic and International Economic Relations of the Mariupol State University, Volodymyr Grigorovich Panch.
Dear Chairwoman, dear members of Specialized Academic Council, dear applicant, thank you for the possibility to take part in this high-level international scientific event. In this turbulent time, the relevance of your topic you selected is very high. You have chosen this topic like 4 years ago, but today it's becoming even more relevant. Dear colleagues, let me address with the review as the official opponent for the qualification work. But before I start to present this my review, I would like to address to Mrs. Du Wei shortly in Chinese. 杜伟女士，很高兴今天在这个大学教师节您过去3年努力工作，但也有好结果。这对乌克兰的和中国的合作有很大帮助。您可能已经知道。 乌克兰是一个友好国家。我想说一句话：朋友很重要，买卖也很重要。您帮助这个买卖过程在更大范围内发生。我们在中国旅游的时候。 看报纸、看电视，常常听到科技的事情。您的工作，祝您成功。Back to the review. The strategy for the internationalization of China's agricultural sector includes the needs of developing countries in China's role in international initiatives, and in particular with the framework of Belt and Road Initiative. The relevance of the chosen topic is because the analysis of the strategy allows not only to identify mechanisms for strengthening China's position in the global food system, but also form practical conclusions for other countries that seek to combine economic growth of the agricultural sector with sustainable development and international cooperation. The research was carried out in accordance with the directions of scientific and research work of the Department of International Economics of the Western Ukrainian National University. The scientific novelty of the results of Du Wei's dissertation lies in deepening the theoretical and methodological foundations of the study of the issues of ensuring the internationalization of Chinese agriculture in the context of stimulating sustainable development and promoting global food security. The applicants substantiated the theoretical model of progress and internationalization of agriculture, developed a methodological approach to studying regional differences in agricultural and economic activity of Chinese provinces, conducted a comprehensive study of China's role in international capital flows and strategic initiatives in the field of internationalization of agriculture, analyzed China's participation in global agricultural trade, studied global challenges affecting the development of agriculture and its sustainability, and at last proposed a strategic framework model for the internationalization of China's agriculture. The practical significance of the results obtained lies in the development of applied approaches to the formation of strategies for the internationalization of the agricultural sector, which can be used in the activities of state bodies, international organizations, investors, and agricultural companies. Scientific ideas, provisions, and results are specified in the list of publications. No violations of academic integrity were detected. I will now talk in detail about points and comments on the dissertation. Mrs. Du Wei's dissertation research formulates and substantiates a number of new scientific points and conclusions, some of which are debatable or require additional explanation. First, when forming a system of indices for assessing sustainable agricultural development on pages 25-27, it would be worthwhile to carefully select indicators that would overcome the limitations of one-dimensional economically oriented approach. The proposed system would make it possible to comprehensively assess the efficiency, fairness, and environmental impact of agricultural development for the formation of a scientifically verified agriculture policy and optimization of business practices in agriculture. Second, the author conducted a thorough analysis of the motivations, goals, principles, and key supporting elements of the strategy for the internationalization of agriculture. At the same time, the issue of monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of the implementation of this strategy is not sufficiently disclosed, which reduces the applied value and practical applicability of the research. Third, in the dissertation, when studying trade in agricultural products in section 2.2 and the transfer of international agricultural capital, section 2.3, insufficient attention is paid to the analysis of consumer demand as a key factor in the internationalization of agriculture. The work does not fully take into account the specific and dynamics of changes in consumer demand in international agricultural markets, differences in preferences and requirements for quality, assortment, price, and other characteristics of agricultural goods. Fourth, in section 2.3, examples of China's active expansion into the agricultural sector abroad are given, which is carried out through the implementation of strategies of foreign direct investment, lease and purchase of land, mergers and acquisitions of agricultural enterprises, resource optimization, strategic technological cooperation, and the use of public-private partnerships models. However, in the context of further internationalization of agricultural policy, it is sufficiently disclosed what response mechanism China will use to overcome challenges related to political disagreements, land ownership, market risks, and other aspects of transnational agricultural production. The fifth, the dissertation should analyze the existence of the relationship between the parameters of the internationalization of the agricultural sector and the well-being of donor regions and recipients of flows of agricultural goods or relevant capital. However, the comments made are of a debatable nature. They do not affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work. Du Wei's dissertation on the topic Internationalization Strategy of Chinese Agriculture, Fostering Sustainable Development and Promoting Global Food Security is a completed, qualifying scientific work in which new scientifically substantiated results have been obtained. It fully meets the established requirements, contains scientific novelty, important theoretical and practical conclusions. The dissertation meets the requirements of the Order of the Minister of Education and Science of Ukraine and the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. And its author, Du Wei, deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 051 Economics. Thank you.
You very much, Volodymyr Grigorovich, especially little part Chinese English, Ukrainian professor, know Chinese language. Is this very beautiful? Please, I ask the applicant to respond to the official opponent comments. Please.
Thank you very much, Professor. Regarding second comment, my point is in table 1.1 and 1.3. I have proposed an evaluation framework that include quantitative, such as return on investment framework, investment environmental impact score, and qualitative indicators such as stakeholder satisfaction by comparing agricultural development factors and sustainability indicators. It's recommended to connect this framework with global benchmarking tools such as FAO's sustainability indicators to strengthen competitive evaluation. However, China's agricultural internationalization started late and still faces multiple challenges, such as the market fluctuation, technology diffusion, climate change, and geopolitical at a practical level. The existing evaluation system focuses on theoretical construction, and the monitoring and evaluation mechanism needs to be continuous, improve in the future in combination with dynamic practices. On the third comment, my point is that there is indeed no systematic theory in related to consumer demand. I think it can be improved by adding a chart of global agricultural product consumption trends. In section 2.1, I analyzed the changes in China's agricultural product structure in the past decade. In section 2.2, I analyze the impact of changes in consumer preferences, food safety issues, and culture on China's agricultural product imports and exports. And in section 3.2, I analyze the transformation of China's agriculture. Different regions also prioritize product attributes differently. European customers generally value environment certification, while many Asian markets place great emphasize prices and freshness. Those differences require more nuanced and segmented market analysis to understand how China's agriculture exports and overseas investment are responding to these changes. On the fifth comment, my point is that section 2.3 mainly studies China's role in the international capital transfer of agriculture. China promotes the flow of agricultural capital through diversified models. The welfare relationship between donors and recipients should not be limited to the amount and the number of projects. We should establish well-measurement dimensions such as economic welfare, social welfare, environmental welfare, and a series of key analytical indicators. We can select cooperation cases along the Belt and Road for empirical analysis to study the impact of differentiated cooperation models. I agree with the remarks first and fourth. The Sustainable Development Indicators system has incorporated multiple dimensions, indicators of economy, social, and environment. China has expanded its overseas agriculture through diversified models. In the future, it needs to improve political risk hedging mechanism, such as bilateral guarantee agreements, localized cooperation, such as joint land management, future market tools and technology adaptation, transformation to cope with transnationality changes. Thank you.
It is official opponent satisfied the applicant response?
Yes, thank you. Fully satisfied.
Dear Volodymyr Grigorevich, do you agree to include the comment? The applicant agree with the decision of the special one-time council?
Yes, I agree.
The floor is given to the official opponent, candidate of economic science, associate professor of the Department of International Economic Relations of Donetsk National University of the Ministry Education of Science of Ukraine, Marina Evgenievna Skurat. Please.
Thank you, dear Olena Mykolaivna. Thank you, dear colleagues. I'm very happy to be a part of this scientific discussion. So let me stay on the main points of my review. First of all, I want to talk about the relevance of the research and its connection with scientific programs, plans, topics. Over the past decades, the problem of ensuring sustainable development of the agricultural sector and guaranteeing global food security has gained particular importance against the background of world population growth, climate change, degradation of natural resources, and geopolitical instability. In these conditions, significant attention of researchers and practitioners is focused on countries with strong agricultural potential, in particular the People's Republic of China, which is actively promoting a strategy of internalization of its agriculture using economic investment, institutional and technological expansion at the global level. China, as one of the largest producers and consumers of agricultural products in the world, is expanding its participation in global agricultural value chains, introducing innovative technologies, concluding intergovernmental agreements on agricultural cooperation, and investing in agriculture in countries of Asia, Africa, Latin America, and Europe. Such a strategy has not only economic but also geopolitical and ecological significance, as it influences regional stability, food availability, and adherence to the principles of sustainable development. Despite the growing interest of the world scientific community in the internalization of China's agricultural sector, the issues of comprehensive research into the economic mechanism, challenges, and prospects of this strategy in the context of achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and ensuring global food security remain insufficiently studied. Of particular relevance is the study of the impact of Chinese agricultural policy on recipient countries of investment, the transformation of market infrastructure, the use of land and water resources, as well as harmonization with international environmental standards. In the context, there is a need for a systematic analysis of the strategic principles of the internalization of Chinese agriculture as a tool for implementing the economic interests of the state, increasing the food sustainability of regions, and forming global models of agricultural cooperation. This determines the scientific novelty, practical significance, and interdisciplinary nature of the chosen research topic, which fully meet the modern priorities of the development of economic science, social responsibility, of business goals, and global resource management. Thus, Du Wei's dissertation work was carried out on a topical on the topic, the courage which substantiates scientific and practical recommendation for optimizing the strategy of internalization of Chinese agriculture. Du Wei's dissertation work was carried out within the framework of comprehensive program of scientific and research works of the Western Ukraine National University. In particular, the results of the dissertation are part of the scientific research within the framework of fundamental state budget, scientific and research work on the topic model of regional security, economic and technical aspects of sustainable development and civil protection during the war. International project, regional integration, European reference points in the context of global fragmentation, Erasmus plus Jan-Monnet model. Scientific and research work under the economic context, the economic interest of Ukraine and export opportunities. Performance of work of the provision of scientific and professional services on the topic modern mainstreams of the global development, economic, environmental, social, and military factors. If we talk about the degree of validity and reliability of scientific provisions, the study of the dissertations allows support in theoretical and methodological provisions, practical conclusions, and recommendations, which are characterized by scientific novelty, formulated by the dissertationalist independently, reflecting his author's scientific contribution. The conducted research is based on the use of general scientific and special methods, which confers a high level of mastery of the methodology of scientific activity, the method of theoretical generalization, methods of analysis and synthesis, methods of deduction and induction, clusters analysis, statistical, and others. The information base of the research was official materials, statistical databases of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, the Statistics Service of China, the Customs Services of China, and many, many others. It is worth noting that structure of the work, the consistency and the argumentation of the thesis. The thesis explores and systematizes the theoretical approaches, conceptual and categorical apparatus and tools used by the author, which explain the peculiarities of the development of strategic imperatives of the internalization of the agriculture. The structure of the work is determined in accordance with the goal, objectives, and logic of the study. The dissertation consists of an abstract introduction, 3 sections, conclusions, a list of sources used, and appendices. The total volume of the dissertation is 226 pages, of which the main text takes 180 pages. The dissertation presents 45 tables, 33 figures, and appendices on 10 pages. The list of sources used has 254 positions on 23 pages. The dissertation is written in business English with adherence to the scientific style of presenting its context. It is characterized by context completeness, logical consistency of relevant issues, and objectivity of present research materials. The style of presenting research materials, scientific provisions, conclusions, and recommendations in them ensures there is an stability of perception. Among the main scientific results that characterize the novelty of the research carried by Du Wei, the following should be identified. The work proposes an author's methodological approach to the analysis of the sectoral and spatial structure of the agricultural sector. In particular, the clustering of Chinese provinces was carried out using hierarchical methods, which made it possible to identify clear territorial difference in the agriculture and economic activity of the regions. Methodological approach to assessing the impact of international capital flows on the agricultural sector of China have been improved, according to which the government carries out a strategic direction of foreign direct investment to developed countries, which initiate public-private partnership projects with developing countries, which ensure the modernization of agricultural production both in China itself and in a partner countries. Scientific and theoretical justification for the sustainable development of agriculture in the context of internalization and aggravation of geopolitical confrontation had been developed. Have first developed an analytical approach to the characterization of the global institutional and regulatory environmental of agricultural internalization and its impact on the national strategies of the world's leading countries and developing countries. A comprehensive strategy for China's agricultural internalization has been developed, which is focused on achieving sustainable development of agriculture and strengthening global food security based on 5 key areas: diversification of import flows through increased trade, investment in foreign agriculture projects, stimulation of the transfer of innovation and technologies, development of the infrastructure and logistics base, as well as expansion of international cooperation and political coordination. The main provisions of the dissertation research conclusions and practical recommendations for use of the results obtained have been published by the author and have been tested at scientific and practical conferences of various levels. The main ideas, provisions, and results of the scientific research are reflected in the author's scientific publications. The results of the study were published in the 9 scientific reports, including 5 articles in domestic scientific professional publication and 4 publications in the material of international all Ukraine scientific and practical conferences. From the scientific works published in co-authorship. The dissertation used those ideas and provisions that are the result of the author's own developments, which is specified in the list of publications. The content of the abstract reproduces the main provisions of the study. No violations of academic integrity were identified. While positively assessing Du Wei's dissertation work, we draw attention to certain points that are debatable, not fully disclosed, and require explanation in the discussion process during the dissertation defense. The first one. On page 55, the author provides an interpretation of food security and its multidimensional content, systematically examines specific manifestations and challenges of food security in 4 key aspects: provision, access, use, and stability. It is noted that the importance of food security is not only related to personal survival and well-being, but is also the basis of social stability, economic development, and international peace. At the same time, it is advisable to conduct a case study of China's international strategy in the field of food security. In particular, such measures as the creation of system of food reserves, strengthening control over the import and export of products, and unifications of environmental standards, reducing dependence on monocultures, minimizing trade risks, state subsidizing resource conservation and soil conservation agriculture, etc. The second one, on the page 99, the author used a multi-dimensional conceptual approach to analyze China's motivation to participate in the process of internalization of agriculture and expanding agricultural exports. At the same time, it would be advisable to reveal in more detail how China can make a strategic transition from quantitative growth to qualitative dominance within the framework of agricultural internalization and the promotion of foreign trade in agricultural foods. The third one, in section 2.2, the author analyzes the achievements of China and Ukraine in the development of agriculture from 4 perspectives: trade cooperation, investment cooperation, technical cooperation, and cooperation in the field of sustainable development. The author analyzes statistical data on the export of agricultural products from Ukraine to China, the volume of investments, and the number of implemented projects over the past 5 years. However, the risks and threats that accompany the bilateral cooperation are not sufficiently highlighted. The fourth one, on the page 179, the author puts forward the thesis that building a strategy for agricultural internalization with China specifics should be based on the state leadership, business investments, and technological cooperation. According to the author's approach, the government provides strategic guarantees to the internalization of the agriculture sector through political support, the creation of international cooperation platforms, the stimulation of technological innovation, etc. However, the role of the government in ensuring global, national, and local food security is not sufficiently covered. The fifth one, insufficient attention is paid to the analysis of barriers to market access to the significant effects of the process of internalization of China's agriculture. In particular, there are tariff barriers, non-tariff restrictions, technical barriers to trade. These obstacles have a profound and lasting impact on both the volume of international trade in agricultural products and the implementation of international strategies of the agribusiness. The above comments do not reduce the overall positive assessment of the study and its practical value. So my general Conclusion will be Du Wei's dissertations on the topic Internationalization Strategy of Chinese Agriculture for Fostering Sustainable Development and Promoting Global Food Security is completed, qualifying scientific work, contains specific scientific results that allow solving and important scientific task, namely based on improvement of theoretical and methodological provisions to develop scientific and practical recommendation on the internalization of China agriculture to stimulate sustainable development and promote global food security. The above allows us to include the dissertation meets the requirements of the order of the Minister of Education Science of Ukraine number 40, on approval of the requirement for designer dissertation as amended, and the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of the Institution of Higher Education, Scientific Institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Approved by a resolution the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine number 44 of January 12, 2022, and its author, Du Wei, deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialty 051 Economics. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Maria Evgenievna. Please, I ask the applicants to respond to the official opponent's comments.
Thank you very much, Professor. On the second comment, my point is China's agriculture is accelerating its strategic transformation from quantitative growth to qualitative dominance, but faces still challenges domestically. Small-scale present economic transformation is difficult. Resource and environmental constraints are tightening, and production costs continue to rise. Internationally, technological barriers are escalating, geopolitical risks are intensifying, and the international market competition is identifying. Against this background, China is breaking through develop bottlenecks through three major paths. 1. Technological innovation. 2. Upgrading the entire industry chain. And 3. Building a dual circulation system. With the domestic large circulation as the main body and the domestic and international dual circulation mutually promoting the sustainable development of agriculture. On the third comment, my point is in section 2.2. Although I analyzed the trade, investment, and technological achievements of China Ukrainian Agricultural Corporation. For example, agricultural products exports to China increased by 37% in 5 years. I do need to explore the risks in more depth. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has led to fluctuations in Ukrainian grain exports. And the US-China trade war has prompted China to face logistic bottlenecks when turning to the Ukrainian market. For example, Black Sea transportation costs have increased threefold. And the technical barriers of European standards. For example, new pesticide residue regulations have affected corn exports. In addition, changes in Ukrainian domestic policies, for example, land reform, and exchange rate fluctuations have also increased investing uncertain. On the fourth comment, my point is the Chinese government promotes the internationalization of agriculture through a systematic top-level design. At the policy level, it has issued strategic documents such as the Agriculture Foreign Cooperation Plan and established a list of tariff concessions for agricultural products under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Framework. In terms of finance, it provides exploit credit insurance, coverage rate of 60%, and overseas investment special funds, scale of 5 billion yuan in 2023. In the diplomatic field, it has signed 17 agricultural free trade agreements through a mechanism, such as the China-Africa Cooperation Forum. This policy fund flame from Trinity management model not only ensure domestic food security, but also help multinational companies build food hubs overseas and realize the linkage of international and domestic dual circulation. I agree with remarks first and fifth. My dissertation analyzes food security from the 4 dimensions of supply, access, use, and stability. It focuses on tariff barriers, no-tariff restrictions, and technical trade barriers among trade barriers, and combines trade policy review reports and Chinese customer data to quantitatively assess the specific impact of various barriers on the 4 dimensions of food security. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the official opponent satisfied with the applicant response?
Yeah, I'm fully satisfied.
Thank you, Maria Evgenievna. It is possible to include the comment the applicant agree with the decision of the special one-time council.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. According to the regulation, we proceed to the discussion of the draft decision of the council on the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, in which only member of the Specialized Academic Council have the right to take part. Who will start the discussion process, dear colleague?
May I?
Please, Professor Roman Зварич.
Thank you very much, Olena Mykolaївна. Dear colleagues, it's my honor to participate in the academic discussion of this doctoral dissertation. So due to the context, I would like to say that today we should describe this problem from the position of strategic of agriculture internationalizations in China. The first one from the position of fostering sustainable development. So in the another case, this is the promoting global food security. And it's very important today because we understand that China or PRC, this is the great country which today influence for global development. And at the same time, we understand that in our global economy, we have a lot of different challenges, a lot of different problems which could affect or maybe influence for local economies, regional economies, especially like Ukraine. What we have today we have not only the wars, not only the military conflicts, but at the same time we have the changes in climate, we have food security problem, we have geopolitical challenges. And due to these points, today the topic is very relevant, and of course, the researching of such problem could help not only for China but for all similar countries with the position of development. I'm talking about developing countries, but in the same time, a lot of countries which will participate in Chinese global initiative, One Belt, One Road. So I would like to say that China is geopolitical, not only producer, but this is the biggest consumer in the world. Of course, such problem could not affect this country, could not affect the neighbor countries, and could not affect like partner countries. So in this case, the Chinese, or maybe Chinese strategy of agriculture internationalization, of course, has not only like global influence, but in the same time is very important from the case of food safety or food security. In the same time, very important to talk about the countries, partner countries, or maybe countries which participate in, which have the strong relationship with China. At the same time, could be the strong member in One World, One Belt initiative. From this case, this is very important topic for Ukraine too. And Du Wei, in her research, developed this problem and developed the proposals not only for China, but for all countries who will participate in sustainable development strategy in promoting global food security. At the same time, it's very important to say something about methodology of the research. I would like to say that our applicants used comparative analysis, cluster analysis, modeling analysis, or maybe modeling procedure, due to which propose for us the strategy of agriculture internationalization in China. Same time, it's very important to talk about in measures of, or in case of methodology, different levels of analysis and different levels of proposition, like regional, like state, like international levels. So it's positively influenced for final result. It's positively influenced for propositions. And finally, we have the good collaboration with scientific supervisors, which finally described in all articles, in all propositions. If to analyze the practical importance of applicants' results, of course, it's very important that there may be core or maybe the part of your results we could see in state funding research, in business funding research, the same time in Erasmus project, because it's international cooperation of Ukraine. I can see the great potential of implementation of your results in state policy, in international programs, especially in measures of FAO, in Belt and Road Agriculture Cooperation Platform, and of course possibility of to apply your conclusions in state partners, especially in Ukrainian-Chinese collaboration. This research of Du Wei stands the intersection of several global priorities: sustainable development, international economic cooperation, and food security, all of which are essential components of the United Nations 2030 agenda. If to evaluate the structure of this analysis, the structure of all dissertation, I would like to say that she used the good scientific business style, English language. At the same time, what makes this dissertation especially valuable, this is unique perspective of the researcher. Chinese PhD candidate stayed in Ukraine, in West Ukrainian National University. She's working at the crossroads of two agricultural significant countries. This is the China, and of course this is Ukraine, both of which play vital roles in ensuring food security, not just regionally, but I think, for my opinion, globally. Her position allows her to bring a comparative lens, deep cultural insights, and understanding of the bilateral cooperation potential between China and Eastern Europe is very important. If to say something for the end, I would like to say that I sincerely congratulate the researcher for her contribution and dedication. She has chosen a topic of real strategic importance. I believe this work adds true academic value and deserves full recognition. I support Du Vei, I support scientific supervisor in their future achievements. Thank you for great research. Of course, I will support Wang Shi Ru Yi. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Indeed, the dissertation by Du Vei is relevant and timely. In particular, we feel climate change, soil degradation, and those impact on the agricultural sector, including in China. In this regard, the internationalization of agricultural service as an important tool for optimizing resources provision, increasing production efficiency, and strengthening international food cooperation. About work, scientific work, the study proposes innovative solution in agriculture, in particular precision agriculture, biotechnology use, efficient irrigation system, and international cooperation to increase productivity, the resilience to crisis phenomena. Also, the author has proposed a holistic strategy for the internationalization of Chinese agriculture, which includes a combination of the policy of going out, government management, corporate investment, technological cooperation, and 5 strategic directions of government initiatives that will contribute to the implementation of goals of the strategy. Next, the purpose of the study is fully consistent with the topic of the dissertation. The objective and subject of the study are sufficiently covered in the structure and content of the work. The obtained scientific results, conclusions, and recommendations are justified and reliable. And accordingly, the author Du Vei deserves the award of the Doctor of Philosophy, a degree in the field of knowledge 05 Social and Behavioral Sciences, specialty 051 Economics, and I will be support this work. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in this discussion. I really appreciate what is done by the applicant. I would like to add that now what we see here, due to this dissertation, a new way, this is without without telling so much about this Chinese way of doing things in economy. Usually when we talk about some tigers, economic tigers, like it used to be Japan or South Korea, when we analyze those ways and their strategies, it is always about agriculture aside and developing the industrial and then the post-industrial sectors. Now what we see in the strategies which Mrs. Du Wei presented, this is a two-way road. When if you in China need imports, for example, from 2010, the imports of agricultural products to China increased from $71 billion to $215 billion, like 3 times in 15 years, less than 15 years. So we would assume that there would be no export growing in this area, but it is. It grew from 48 billion US dollars to $103 billion. So what you add to the agriculture, those 5 pillars which you explained us, you add technology, you add the watering, drop watering, or you add digital technologies with the fertilizers or pesticides. Everything which you add gives you the opportunity immediately to export. The other thing which we usually in Europe and especially in Ukraine, which we usually lack of understanding, I mean, we not in the scientific level, but more on the government level, when they plan the strategies for agriculture, they always are inclined to export crops, and that's it. And if we are a basket of the world, then we export crops. But this strategy shows that working on main export, you always have to also do exports of capital, but at the same time you have to do imports of capital to increase value added, and then the supply chains will include the more marginal products, and not to leave the export, which is resource export, not to leave it like this, but to become more technological. The other thing which is very much important is the regional aspect. You show how different regions work in developing agricultural import-export balance, and you also prepare strategies, and you explain this in your work about social aspect. Again, this is a very good example for Ukraine, like Argentina, Brazil, for countries which have very good potential of supplying crops or meat or other agricultural products. Sometimes this is the inclination to give a floor to big companies, to multinationals, which don't think about social aspect. They kill the jobs. So the strategies which you showed us, they help to not only to secure the jobs, but to add jobs because of using different aspects of sustainable agricultural growth. So my congratulations with this very good very good topic, very good niche in science. I believe if you and with Mr. Lishinsky, if he attracts other people from China to explain in more detail, I think this is a very good example of how to solve problems, how to meet the challenges with additional knowledge and with additional scientific exchange. My opinion that the author Du Wei really deserves to be awarded degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I will vote for. And once more, thank you for this pleasure to work on this topic and to participate in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Associate Professor Spurat Marie.
Thank you, Elena Michelangelo. Thank you, dear colleagues. Let me add to this discussion. Thank you for this scientific work, first of all, Du Wei. And really, in the context of relevant of dissertation, there are several reasons. First of all, over the past decades, the problem of ensuring sustainable development of the agricultural sector are guaranteeing global food security has gained particular importance. This is against the backdrop of world population growth, climate changes, degradation of natural resources, and other reasons. In these conditions, significant attention from all resources is focused on countries with strong agricultural potential. And of course, the People's Republic of China, which is actively promoting a strategy of internalization of its agriculture. China's utilized economic investment, institutional and technological expansion at the global level. And of course, we talk about China's impact on the global supply chain. China is one of the largest producers and consumers of agricultural products in the world, is expanding its participation in global agricultural value chains, introduction innovative technologies. We talk about multifaceted significance of this strategy. Such strategy has not only economic but also geopolitical and ecological significance, as it can influence regional stability, food availability, and adherence to the principles. The Du Wei's dissertation work was carried out on a topical theme, the coverage of which substantial scientific and practical recommendation for optimizing the strategy of internalizations of China's agriculture. I would like to emphasize the strength of this dissertation. The research is timely and well justified, responding to both academic interests and practical needs. The author demonstrates a deep understanding of the subject and applies a wide range of research methods. The methodological diversity strengthens the reliability of the results and the validity of the conclusions. Another important advantage of dissertation is the structure, and of course, it's a logical coherence. And also, I would like to highlight the scientific novelty of the work. The author developed a regional approach to analyzing sectoral and spatial structures, proposed improvement to the assessment of international capital flows, and formulate a comprehensive strategy for agricultural internalization. I saw the personal contribution on the work of applicant is evident. This is about the conference, academic conference, and publish it in recognized journals. To sum up, I believe that this dissertation is a highly qualified scientific work that fully meets the requirement of the Doctor of Philosophy degree. It is a valuable contribution to economic science and has a strong interdisciplinary and practical significance. And I fully support the awarding of the PhD degree to the author and, of course, wish further success in the academic career. Thank you. I don't hear you, Olena Mykolaївна.
Dear colleagues, please allow me to finalize the evaluation of the dissertation submitted by the PhD candidate whose research of devoted to a subject growing global relevance, the internationalization of China agriculture sector. It should be noted that China is rapidly reshaping of the structure of international agri-food market. China account for 18% of global agriculture output, while also being the world's largest importer of agriculture goods, such as soybean, grain, and meat. This trend confirms China's dual role as both a major global producer and consumer, and key playing in the formation of transnationalization agri-food value chain. While China has indeed implemented a broad going out strategy aimed at expanding its economic and geopolitical influence and board, it is important to note that this strategy remains generalized and multi-sectoral, less tailored framework for specific domains such as agriculture. And here lies the core scientific contribution of the candidate research. Through her dissertation, the candidate proposes a structured strategy specifically in the international over agriculture, a domain critical not only to global food security, but also to sustainable development and ecological balance. What adds significant depth to this research is candidate's strong academic background, included a master's degree in agriculture extension from Gansu Agriculture University. This experience provides her not only with academic knowledge, but also with valuable culture and institutional understanding of China's agriculture system. In general, I support the dissertation, accept and recommend the awarding of the PhD degree. Thank you. We can take the discussed draft decision of basis. The floor for the final speech is given to Du Wei.
Thank you. Thank you, our professors. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to the rector of West Ukrainian National University, Oksana Dzyatnyuk, the head of academic council, Andrei Krasovati, and the vice rector of scientific and pedagogical work, Mykola Devak, for letting me defend my work at the university. Special thanks also go to my scientific supervisor, Professor Igor Lisinsky. He has been more than just a mentor. He's been a great friend too, always there with guidance and support. I'm also grateful to Olena Sokhatska, the head of the specialized academic council, and Irina Zvaric, who led the Department of International Economics, for their professional advice. Thanks as well to the reviewers, Roman Зварич and Olena for their helpful feedback, and to my opponents, Volodymyr Panchenko and Maria Shkurat, for their sentiment comments. Lastly, I can't forget the thank you to Olga Kosinska for her organizational help, Lyudmila Havryuk-Yesen, and my colleagues in the Department of International Economics for their support, and my family, my husband, and children for sticking with me through this whole process. Their understanding has meant everything. I'm missing you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Шановні члени Спеціалізованої вченої ради, відповідно до пункту 28 Постанови Кабінету міністрів України від 12.01.2022 року номер 44, затвердженої нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, прошу проголосувати шляхом підняття руки щодо присудження здобувачці Ду Вей доктора філософії. Прошу голосувати підняттям рук. Хто за? Проти? Утримались? Немає. Рішення прийнято одноголосно. Шановні колеги, ставлю на голосування питання про затвердження рішення Спеціалізованої вченої ради ДФ 58082067. Прошу проголосувати. Голосуємо підняттям руки. Хто за? Хто проти? Утримався? Немає. Рішення Спеціалізованої вченої ради прийнято одноголосно. Дякую. Шановні колеги, таким чином, на підставі результатів голосування та прийнятого рішення Спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Ду Вей ступінь доктора філософії зі спеціальності 051 «Економіка». З чим і вітаємо Ду Вей. Дякую всім, хто прийняв участь у засіданні ради. Засідання ради